Commander Jake Morrison stepped off the transport shuttle onto the gleaming deck of the Galactic Council station, his boots clicking against the polished metal floor. The air recyclers hummed softly, mixing the artificial atmosphere with traces of 1,000 different worlds. He adjusted his uniform and took a deep breath, steeling himself for another diplomatic mission that would likely end in frustration. The humans had been part of the Galactic Council for only 3 years, and their reputation preceded them wherever they went. Most species viewed them as reckless, emotional creatures who solved problems with violence rather than logic. Jake had spent countless hours in meetings trying to convince alien dignitaries that humanity deserved a place among the stars. Usually, to no avail. Today's mission involved negotiating mining rights for a resource-rich asteroid belt. The Council had assigned him to work with a team of representatives from various species, including the notoriously difficult Valkyrie, whose crystalline forms and mathematical minds found human unpredictability deeply unsettling. As Jake made his way through the station's corridors, he noticed the usual reactions from passing aliens. Some stared with obvious curiosity, others wrinkled their various nasal appendages at his scent, and a few quickly moved to the far side of the hallway. He had grown accustomed to being treated like a dangerous animal, though it never stopped. Stinging. The conference room buzzed with alien chatter as Jake entered. Representatives from 12 different species sat around a circular table, their forms ranging from the insectoid kit to the gaseous nephri contained within their environmental suits. Jake took his assigned seat between a hulking Korvac and a diminutive Yeren, both of whom immediately scooted their chairs away from him. The meeting began with typical bureaucratic formalities, each species presenting their case for why they deserved the largest share of mining rights. Jake listened patiently as trade agreements and historical precedents were cited. Mathematical formulas were projected in the air, and complex social hierarchies were explained in excruciating detail. When his turn came, Jake stood and delivered a straightforward presentation about humanity's mining capabilities and their willingness to share technology with other council members. The other representatives listened with barely concealed skepticism, occasionally exchanging glances that clearly communicated their doubts about human reliability. The Valkyrie representative, a tall crystalline being named Quill, raised one of his 4 arms. "The human proposal lacks the sophisticated risk analysis we require," he said in his melodious voice. "Your species has demonstrated a tendency toward impulsive decision-making that could jeopardize the entire operation." Jake felt his jaw clench, but maintained his diplomatic composure. "We understand your concerns about human methods, but our results speak for themselves. In the past 3 years, we've successfully completed every project assigned to us ahead of schedule and under budget. Success achieved through barbaric means is hardly success at all," interjected the Gorvek representative, her massive frame shaking with what Jake recognized as disgust. "Your people solve conflicts with violence when peaceful solutions exist." The familiar weight of humanity's reputation settled on Jake's shoulders like a lid blanket. He had heard these accusations countless times, and part of him wondered if the other species might be right. Perhaps humans were too aggressive, too primitive for the sophisticated society the council represented. A soft chime indicated someone new had entered the conference room. Jake turned to see a small, graceful figure approaching the table. The newcomer was clearly Talaxian, with pale blue skin and large, dark eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. Her flowing robes marked her as someone of high rank within her species hierarchy. As she drew closer, Jake noticed something unusual. Instead of the typical wariness he expected from alien dignitaries, this Talaxian was studying him intently. Her head tilted slightly as if trying to remember something important. She stopped directly beside Jake's chair and inhaled deeply, her delicate nostrils flaring. Suddenly, Her eyes widened with unmistakable recognition, and she placed one slender hand over her heart in what Jake knew was a gesture of profound respect among her people. "You," she whispered, loud enough for the entire room to hear. "You are the one who saved my life." The conference room fell silent as every alien representative turned to stare at Jake and the Talaxian woman. Jake studied her face, searching his memory for any recollection of their previous encounter. The Talaxians were known for their extraordinary sense of smell, capable of identifying individuals across vast distances and remembering scents for decades. Slowly, the memory began to surface. 2 years ago, during a supply run to a remote research station, Jake had responded to a distress signal from a damaged Talaxian vessel. The ship had been caught in a solar storm, its crew trapped in a rapidly failing life support system. Jake had piloted his small rescue craft through dangerous electromagnetic fields to reach them, managing to evacuate 7 Talaxian scientists before their ship was destroyed. "Commander Morrison," the Talaxian woman continued, her voice carrying clearly through the silent room, "I am Dr. Lyra Moonwhisper, senior researcher of the Talaxian Scientific Collective. You risked your life to save my team when our vessel was caught in the Kepler 442 solar storm." Jake felt heat rise in his cheeks as the other representatives stared at him with new interest. "I was just doing my duty, Doctor. Any council member would have done the same." Dr. Moonwhisper shook her head firmly. "No, Commander. The storm was too dangerous. 3 other vessels received our distress signal, but their captains deemed the rescue impossible. Only you were willing to risk everything for strangers." She turned to address the other representatives, her voice growing stronger. "This human flew through electromagnetic fields that should have torn his ship apart. His scanners were blind, his communications were down, and his hull was taking damage with every passing moment. Yet he persisted until every member of my team was safely aboard his vessel." The Velkari representative, Quilm, leaned forward with obvious interest. "The Kepler 442 incident was widely reported among scientific circles. The storm reached Category 9 intensity, with electromagnetic flux readings that exceeded all safety parameters." "Indeed," Dr. Moonwhisper confirmed. "Commander Morrison's rescue was mathematically improbable. Yet he succeeded through what I can only describe as the unique human combination of courage, determination, and innovative thinking." Jake noticed that the other representatives were no longer avoiding eye contact. The Gorvek delegate who had criticized human methods was studying him with what appeared to be grudging respect. Dr. Moonwhisper continued her testimony. "In the months following our rescue, my team analyzed the sensor data from Commander Morrison's ship. His approach to the storm was unconventional by all standard protocols, yet it proved to be the only viable solution. Where our mathematical models predicted failure, human intuition found a path forward." The atmosphere in the conference room had shifted dramatically. Representatives who had been dismissive of Jake's presentation were now asking detailed questions about human rescue techniques and decision-making processes. The Talaxian doctor's recognition had transformed him from a barbaric outsider into a proven hero. As the meeting progressed, Jake found himself at the center of increasingly respectful negotiations. The mining rights proposal that had seemed doomed to failure was now being seriously considered, with several species expressing interest in joint ventures with human operations. When the session finally concluded, Dr. Moonwhisper approached Jake privately. "Your scent carries the memory of that day," she explained softly. "Talaxians never forget those who show us such kindness. I have been hoping to encounter you again so I could properly express my gratitude." Jake smiled, feeling a warmth that had nothing to do with the station's climate controls. "Thank you, Doctor. Your words today meant more than you know." As he prepared to leave the station, Jake reflected on the day's events. Perhaps humanity's reputation for impulsiveness and aggression would always precede them into diplomatic situations. But sometimes, he realized, those very traits that other species found troubling were exactly what the galaxy needed. The transport shuttle powered up its engines as Jake settled into his seat. Through the viewport, he could see the vast expanse of stars stretching into infinity, each one representing countless worlds and possibilities. Somewhere among those distant lights, other situations would arise where human courage and determination might make the difference between life and death. Jake closed his eyes and smiled, knowing that when those moments came, humanity would be ready.